quick status update from last week. It's just the very next day. We got the paint on the wall. Looks pretty good, although there's quite a few more patches, even though I kind of went over this to try and get as many spots that I missed previously. But we're probably going to end up doing another full coat, or at least a major patch on the walls to make sure everything has color. And as far as putting things on the wall, we're just missing this little strip because the door trim has been painted, so that was drying, as well as same on this side. So that's the only spot that doesn't actually have color on it, and then the rest just needs to be patched. Yeah. And then in here, overnight, the baseboards have been drying, and they look pretty damn good, if I do say so myself. So then hopefully, not today, because we have some other things outside the house to do, but tomorrow I'm hoping we can actually start to cut these and put them in the bedroom to completely wrap that one up and be done with it. And maybe, depending on how tedious this process is, how long it takes for me to do this, because I have not done baseboards yet, but maybe we can get to some of the other rooms, like the bathroom, like the hallway, other places where the baseboards do not match. They're the old original stuff, and that needs to be replaced. Almost forgot the bathroom. This one has definitely not really been touched. It's kind of in the same state that it's been, although we sanded a little bit more to get on the corners and things like that. And the ceiling has been textured, so that's ready to be primed and painted, but the walls, at least these two, need to be mudded and smoothed out. And that's going to be a little tricky, especially down around that area. So we might have a little bit of texture that we didn't intend to have, but that's okay because the toilet bowl will cover it. Well, we're back home, and based on the sunlight, it's actually the end of the day, so we haven't done anything yet today. But we are going to get back to finishing the painting like I said this morning, and at the same time there are a couple of pieces of wood on the floor here that are missing. So we have one square here, but we pulled this one out actually because we were trying to match the other pieces that we knew were missing, but we found some in that attic space. So I have a little 17x2 strip right there, and then a 4x4 square right there. So this piece will actually take care of both of them. So I have the 4x4 cut out here because of the tongue and groove section. This is the side that's got to match up right there. And then on the other side, a 17x2. So I'm going to cut that out and get that prepped so that way we can continue with the baseboards tomorrow and won't have any gaps. Well, we got a piece put back here, freshly cut piece here, and another freshly cut piece here. So that's all ready to go. This is ready for baseboards after touch-up paint, of course. Also went ahead and finished this so it's ready to mount to the wall, but again, because of touch-ups, there's a little bit of white showing around this thing, so we'll put that on after that. All right, we're getting started again. Day 2 of week 2. So what is that, day 9 in total of this marathon? Little more than a week, but we're getting rolling on the baseboards. Got my situation all set up here. I made a lovely diagram of the room with angles as well as lengths, because the walls, while they should be roughly 90 degrees, they're not always perfect. So taking that into account and making sure that I divide that in half rather than just 45s, so that way it looks a little cleaner, hopefully, theoretically, when it all goes together. So I'm making my first cut right here, which is going to be along the back wall from the closet up into the first corner. So I've already made this cut at 46 degrees, not 45, and now I got to measure this thing out according to this, 128 and 1/8 inches, and mark it. So let's see if I did the math right. And I got the first 2 cuts of baseboard done, the back wall and this elbow right here, to get my hand in with angles and things to test fit that, but Caitlin's painting in there, and she's going to do a full second coat, which means painting all the way down to the floor. So I gotta wait until that is done and drying before I can go further with that. So in the meantime, I'm playing IT down here and making some Ethernet cables. Since we got the new Ethernet box right there, I needed to basically reroute my desk. So I was initially hoping it was gonna be right over there where that Ethernet cable lies. There's a lot of dust right there. But since everything is over here, this is where everything needs to be, so shifted the desk over a little bit and made a custom line because my Ethernet actually comes from the wall and goes to my phone, which is a little weird. So I just needed a tiny little like 2-foot jumper right there. So made that and made some scrap jumpers for the Ethernet box for the modem. So that way it's a real quick thing and I don't have any unnecessary length anywhere. And we'll probably make a custom one for Caitlin too when she puts her desk back in that room. Once she knows where everything needs to go, then we'll know what the length is. I completely forgot. I don't think this was shown yesterday. So Caitlin last night, pretty late at night too. It's incredible what she was able to get done, but we got this wall and that wall mudded. These two are still waiting for the panels. We got to cut those. We have them sitting in the garage, but want to make sure that everything is painted here first, then we'll put the panels on. So this has its first coat, and yeah, you can see it's a little rough in some spots, but you know, it's kind of the same story as what was going on last week upstairs. So it looks a lot worse than it is, but once we sand it down and maybe do one more skim, and fix up any other spots that need to be fixed up, then once you get some primer and some paint on that, never even notice it. Ooh, we got a package. We got a screen door kit for the back door. So this is a custom screen door, so it comes pre-cut and everything. We just have to assemble it, but it is the exact specifications for this sliding door. That way we can finally have this open and utilize the tracks, which are already there for the screen door, so that way we can keep this open without the cat running out.
We're on to baseboards. Don't look too closely yet. We're using the nail gun from my sister for my birthday. Thanks, Kim. But a scary thing just happened.
Yeah.
We're nailing this one in right there.
That's where the entry was, and then it came
And
right
that's the
back
exit.
out.
It's
So on the
literally-
other side here is
Yeah.
it just goes straight in there. So I don't know what happened in this wall.
That was scary to watch a nail come out at you.
Also because I was holding it with my foot.
That is true. So we're still working on baseboards, but we have a problem. We were trying to plug something in. Notice that this outlet is not very functional right now. So that's a problem. That is where we had the issue with the nail coming back through after hitting something. So Alex just flipped the breaker off, and now we're gonna pull out this outlet and see where the wire is going to make sure we didn't hit something with the nail gun. It's always something. How are you doing?
Confused.
It's coal miner Alex.
Confused, Alex. Because
Okay, look at that. Bright lines. That's an improvement.
we cut a bunch of holes in the subfloor underneath the ceiling of the garage, and this wire is perfectly fine, and it goes all the way across through the wall to the other office. That's the only thing that powers that outlet. Down here. And everything looks secure, and we plugged the tester into this one and it was just fine. It was flickering a little bit for a split second with a ground. Maybe just pinch that ground connection so it's a little tighter. That's my only thought.
You checked the length of the wire to make sure it was all okay.
Yep, all the slack was there. It was fine. It was stapled where it's supposed to. I did not punch into it like I feared. I thought maybe because I drilled holes through the ceiling in the garage that maybe I drilled straight through a wire. But
And I thought with that nail bounce back we hit something, but we think it's a screw head from patching the drywall
it's
underneath that
just,
box.
it's a coincidence. It happened at the exact same time that we happen to be doing other things. I guess, can you shut the power off again and then I'll
Put
just
it back.
pinch this a little tighter?
Yes. Boop. That's the one of the holes. Alex cut in there. You can see that little gray thing is the box, and then the Romex coming out. I also checked over here. Romex still looking good. And then over there too. So that's all the testing that we did before checking the other outlet. We learned that we need new insulation, or some insulation here, because there's there's only a little bit against the wall. Both of our rooms get really hot, so it'd kind of be nice actually if there's a little bit more stuffing in there.
Well, this is what's known as a loose ground, And in this case, kind of a red herring because we had nothing to do with this outlet. I never touched it, but look at that. I just completely slid it off. So this is the ground that goes to the other outlet, and because it was so loose, it wasn't getting a full connection to this thing, and that's why it dropped power. That's why this was flickering with the open ground fault showing. So we just need to connect those.
Still on. Off. On. Flash. Still off. On. Off. On. It's on. Now that you stopped touching it. Want to try plugging more things in? Oh. Yeah, it's on. It's off. It's on. Off. On. Off. On.
So it's only when I plug something in?
You're stealing all the power. That's freaking weird.
Has that always been like that? We never noticed.
I was only using one out. No, I was using both outlets, I think. That's a bad angle.
Starting the day with coping. We're coping with the fact that the baseboards still need to get put in. Mostly just to take off the backside, the corner. You'll never see it, but since these walls are never flat, it's buttoned up against it, and so it's creating a gap on the top. So to get rid of that material, less of a gap. Such a weird optical illusion with the way that the light is coming in. It looks almost off-white, kind of gray. Now it's white. Gray, white. Very deceiving when you put this in and you think, that's not the same color I painted. That doesn't look good. This is the worst bottle ever.
My dad just randomly sent us 2-part glue, but it looks like it's the cheapest stuff ever.
Look at that. I'm pushing as hard as I can. And that's all that's coming out. I'm thinking this particular box was sitting on the shelf for quite a while.
Not it?
There's nothing in this. Listen to it. We got scammed. Your dad got scammed. A few spots there, but I'll smooth it out with my finger.
It's done!
It's done.
We got the baseboards finished today. Alex is wonderful at caulking.
Well, you're even better at wood putty and painting because you can't even see those corners. Final touches, we put all the base plates back, got the blinds in there. Probably still need to clean the window screen, but otherwise it's ready for furniture.
What would we take into the next project? Walls are hard.
Okay.
When I did the bathroom that had like 18 coats of mud, it turned out nice. This with like 1 coat of touch up has a few little dimples and stuff here, which I don't love.
Yeah.
It is what it is. What else?
Lay tarp down after you sand.
Yeah, because
So the tarp doesn't just... Yeah, like it's easy to just lay dust on here. Baseboards? Coping sucks.
Coping sucks. Minor corners are fine. Wood glue work. Wood putty works. Make sure when you paint that you have your finger all the way down the trigger. You know, I hand painted the tops of all of these.
You did?
Yeah, with a little tiny paintbrush today.
That's what you were up to all day.
Almost they're crazy. And we still have the blue issue.
Oh
But
yeah.
I thought I fixed. There's still some blue we need to touch up here.
Still a little bit of blue.
Okay, YouTube, tell us, are we too particular?
That was the other thing, was just constantly questioning ourselves, because the aim is perfection, but...
Should I have been on the floor for 2.5 hours with a little tiny paintbrush today? Oh no. The paint edging along the ceiling worked really well. Oh, that was something we should next time. Is not putting the texture all the way to the edge worked really well, because then we could use the bare like paint edger with the little wheels on it, and it didn't like bump around. It made like a really smooth edge.
That was something we learned from prior rooms.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah, they did work out really well.
It's 11:30 at night, and it's almost 79 degrees in here. We're gonna have a hot week, but this might help. Got a screen door in here. Put the screen on the frame. Had the frame put together earlier in the week, but now it's on the tracks. And now we have some shielding, so we can get some airflow out of here.